yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to Episode 9. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this sexy, shirtless Wednesday afternoon, Earth date July 2nd, 2014. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story The Tale of the Female Guest.
We do have a female guest today. I'd like to introduce Bree Blackwell. Say hello, Bree.
Hello, Bree.
Oh, you got jokes.
Yeah,
you got
I do.
jokes all
I
day
do.
long. All right, Brandon, what are we going to get into today?
Well, if you couldn't guess by the intro, we are going to discuss the current socio-political climate.
Right, yes.
Match.
We're going to talk about Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh!
Show from the 90s, kids' horror show, ran on Snick. Did you watch it ever as a kid?
I was never a big fan of horror when I was a kid. I was really skittish. And even though, looking back on them now, they're not, they're pretty tame.
You would think they're tame until we get into the first episode.
Oh! But I did watch a few here and there, but I wasn't like a headstrong, fucking always watching it all the time. So.
Well, children's horror show on basic cable is definitely the definition of terrifying. I can understand why you would hide under your bed.
Yes.
Whenever it rolled around at a late time of 8:30.
Yeah.
On Snick.
Well, let's see here. I was born in 83.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, 92?
The pilot was shown in 1990.
Okay.
Well, I'm going off of the always correct Wikipedia.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a disparity there because it says the pilot was aired in 91, but it ran starting in 1990 in Canada.
Okay.
So I'm guessing the pilot maybe aired in 90, and then it was picked up in the U.S. in 93, and ran from 93 to 96.
Okay.
And then stopped for 3 years, and then picked up again in 1999 with a new cast.
Okay. Were there any particularly famous writers that came out of it?
One of the two guys who created it's name's DJ McHale.
Okay.
The other guy I didn't really look up a whole lot on, so sorry, other guy. DJ McHale wrote a lot of kid shows on Nickelodeon. He also does, apparently it's a popular children's book series, I've never heard of it, called Pendragon.
Okay.
I've heard of it.
I don't
I've heard
know.
of it, yeah.
He apparently writes those now also.
Okay. Okay.
And he has a bunch of children's books actually coming out, so he's a pretty popular children's writer currently.
Oh, that's cool. At least he's still beating at the children's bush. There I go again.
God, every fucking time you can't turn that thing off.
Never turn the sound off on that thing. I just got an email.
Jesus. Bree, what's your history with Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Well, in 1990, I was a junior in high school. So in 91 and into the 90s, I was wearing combat boots, had flannels strapped around my waist, going to Soundgarden concerts, living with boys.
Were they spooky Soundgarden concerts?
Very. If you've ever heard Chris Cornell sing.
The twist was you were in Soundgarden.
Dun dun dun.
What a twist!
So, no, I remember vaguely seeing ads for it, I was aware of the show, but the first time I ever watched an episode was just a couple weeks ago when we didn't have internet access for reasons that shan't be discussed here. And was bored and you were sleeping, and I put on a couple episodes, and I found it entertaining.
I have all of the seasons on my computer, legally obtained, of course.
Snatch.
They've only ever released the first season on DVD, so don't ask me how I got the other 6 seasons legally.
Blowjobs, mostly.
Blowjobs. I have to blow somebody every episode, so when I'm a marathon, my jaw gets tired.
Let's be honest, it's multiple people for an episode.
Let's just say it's a spookake. Yes.
That's so bad.
He's been waiting for an excuse
I'm
to use that
coming. Do you remember the coming ghost?
Oh, I remember the coming ghost.
Oh, jeez.
It was the worst haunted house ever.
So we are going to basically cut out and watch some episodes, and you've chosen 3 episodes. We might get to the 3rd one, we might not.
More than likely, we'll just do 2.
And these are episodes that you can find on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, that is how professional I am. Is I've picked episodes you can find on YouTube. So if you're listening along right now, I'm going to say the name of the episode when we're done with all this bullshit. Go on YouTube, pause the podcast, watch the episode, come back. It's like you just watched it with us.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm going to be eating chicken wings while we watch this episode.
What?
What is going to happen?
I don't know. There's chicken wings and coming ghosts.
Well,
and
chicken wings and cum are how we typically record. I'm just not sure.
where the ghost fits in.
Yeah, where the ghost fits in.
It doesn't because it's
What have I gotten
incorporeal.
myself into?
Well, fortunately, I do have a +1 penis, so I'll be able to penetrate him as well.
Do you have like a echidna penis? Where it has like the
Like
multiple heads? Is that what you're implying?
No, +1. It's
a D&G joke.
Oh, sorry.
See, to hit an incorporeal thing,
God,
you need to
no,
have a
please.
+1 weapon or a
Help me.
masterwork weapon of some
Save
sort.
me. Yeah, oh, sorry.
All right, so we'll go ahead and
Well,
Brandon,
hold on,
what-
I have an Are
Go
You
ahead.
Afraid of the Dark story
Okay, go.
before we go into it. A very quick story.
All right.
Whenever it aired in 93, so that would have put me at 9. And they had advertised it on Snick ahead of time for like weeks beforehand. Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Showing this Friday night, or this Saturday night, I guess, because Snick would be Saturday night, right?
Saturday night, Nick.
All right, cut that out, smartass. Yeah, Snick was set. If you're listening to this and you don't know what Snick is, which if you don't, you're retarded.
That's terrible.
What?
That doesn't make them retarded.
For not knowing Snick?
Yes.
All right, cut that out.
I'm not cutting anything.
I know you're not.
You hateful being.
It was Saturday Night Nickelodeon, and they had advertised it for a while. I'd stayed up specifically at my parents' house to watch it. I was super excited, and right before it came on, my mom was like, "Bo, it's time for bed. It's time for bed. You got to go to bed." And I started arguing, and I was a little upset, and I was like, "Mom, I really want to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark? I really..." And we had it back and forth. And then finally, my exasperated mom goes, "The name of the show is Are You Afraid of the Dark? And the answer to that question is yes. So get in bed."
Nice.
So I brought that up to her today while I was there. I was like, "Do you remember this? Because we're recording about Are You Afraid of the Dark tonight." And she said, "No, I don't remember that, but that does sound exactly like me."
It does.
Which it does.
All right, so what's the first episode that we are going to watch that they can look up on YouTube, Brandon?
The first episode is called The Tale of Laughing in the Dark. This is one of people who, pretty much anybody who watched Are You Afraid of the Dark. Now, since I've watched all the seasons, there's a whole lot of ones I don't remember. This one, if you watched Are You Afraid of the Dark, you remember this episode. It's a pretty famous one, so.
Okay. Do you have any other information about it? Nope.
Not particularly. It was a season 1 episode, second episode of the series.
So, like, no special guests or anything like that from Nickelodeon that you can recall?
Not that I know of, because I didn't look that up.
All right, fair enough. Well, what was the name of it again? Go ahead.
It has clowns.
It does have clowns.
It has
There's
clowns.
clowns.
What was the name of it again?
The Tale of Laughing in the Dark.
The Tale of Laughing in the Dark. So go look that up and watch it with us and pause the podcast here.
Well, not here, because you're continuing to talk.
Well,
The last thing you have to say is pause here.
can I put in a little sounder that's training videos? Pause the video here.
Absolutely.
Okay,
You have to.
we'll do that.
In
You
fact,
have to
you
do
do
that.
have to do
Yes.
that now.
Oh, damn it. Now I have to
More
find
work.
that sounder. Fuck. Okay, when we come back, we'll discuss the show.
Yes.
Pause video here. And we're back.
Pick the right door, and you'll go free. Pick the wrong door, and there he'll be.
Come on, Josh. What are you, a chicken?
Yeah, fuck Josh. Josh is an asshole.
Yeah.
These shows do such a good job of making the asshole characters just super unlikable.
Yeah, regardless of how crappy their dialogue is. I mean, I know it was a kid's show and, in the 90s, but, like, just the name calling and that. Come on, doofus.
You call him a lame brain?
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
a lame brain.
Yeah. I wish I would have wrote some of those down. Go ahead.
All of the relationships between all the characters are always super antagonistic. It's always like, what are you talking about? I don't know.
Kids
like,
are pricks.
Yeah, even around the campfire of the Midnight Society, it's like, what are you, scared of clowns? What, did your mom didn't love you enough? I mean, they're just like angry all the time.
And this coming from the boy girl. All coming from the boy girl.
The boy girl.
Yeah, is she the tomboyish one?
Oh,
Isn't she?
right.
She's a girl, correct?
Like the black one?
Yeah.
Kiki?
Yeah.
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 No, she's not like tomboyish. She's more like the black one. she's not-
more Butch Dykish. Is that what you're trying to say?
Jesus Christ. No,
Well, I mean, if you're just gonna straight up call somebody
What, I
black,
can't-
you've already
straight
called
up call somebody
Yeah,
black.
yeah.
Like you mean acknowledge that she's black.
Yeah, African American. That's like calling somebody a retard.
Anywho, clowns
Okay.
are scary.
All right, yeah, retard was my bad. But if
He
you don't
rags
know
on
Snitch-
me so much for being racist in all of these,
Yeah.
I referred to her as the black girl
which is fine.
until I knew her name, and then you called her a butch dyke. So I think that there's a bit of a disparity here in our levels.
You're
of
right.
What we said.
You're right. And cue all the hate from the
Non-listeners.
non-listeners.
I'm interested when we actually put these
homosexual
episodes up
community.
and do get people to listen. All of the constant references I especially make to the fact that nobody listens at all. That it's just us right now.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, what are you talking about? I'm right here with you, Brandon.
I'm right here with you too, listener.
Aww.
But anyway, I find one of the things that I find most interesting about watching these old shows is that, of course, clearly they're written by adults, and the way that they're trying to write children and their slang and the names that they would call one another, of course, completely non-realistic. And they're just the interactions between the kids. It's very after school, especially.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of fun. That and the outfits.
Yeah.
The 90s outfits. The
Yeah.
black shorts and the white socks and the black boots, Because I'm a
Between-
girl, I notice shoes.
Right.
So.
Between those three kids, there was enough fabric to make a circus tent for Zebo to
Oh,
perform in.
absolutely.
With the giant shirts tied around their waists.
That was a thing. You wore the big shirts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it. That
Yeah.
was just the thing.
MC Hammer.
Oh, you
Yeah.
watch old episodes
I didn't
of
see anybody
Seinfeld.
have a MC Hammer pants on though. Did they? Did we see any Hammer pants? Aside from Zebo. but
There was
that
like
doesn't
five
really count.
five people on that
I don't know
whole-
that
yeah.
people actually wore those outside of the entertainment industry.
MC
Like,
Hammer did.
Well, yeah, outside of the entertainment industry. I don't remember going to
I
the
didn't
mall
find
and
MC
seeing
Hammer
people.
entertaining.
What were the
Industry. I didn't say it was entertaining.
well, I guess that was more of an 80s thing, wasn't it? The jackets. What were
Oh,
they
members
called?
only. I
Yeah, the
had
members
one.
only.
It was turquoise. I loved it. Loved it. You to be anyone in elementary school, you had to have members only jacket.
Right.
Had to.
And that's why I don't think sort of that the writing of the kids is that off. Besides, the stupid insults. Is like you saying you had to have a members only jacket to be anybody in school. Kids are assholes. I think that's what we can take away from pretty much every episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's the underlying message.
Right.
It's just kids suck.
Kids,
Kids are assholes,
awful
especially to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Also, I know we all caught it whenever Josh steals the nose and then flips off Zebo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I actually I saw his index finger in the nose as well, but yeah, I mean,
definitely looked like he was
it
flipping off
definitely looked
Zebo.
like he was flipping
Yeah.
off Zebo. So I think one of the things that in the very beginning of the episode, that transition from
When
where
he grabs him by the shirt.
from where he grabs Ouija and pushes him into the camera and then pulls him back around, and they're at the theme park.
Yeah, that was good. The kid's name was Ouija, too.
Ouija. What
That's
kind of
stupid.
name is that for a kid?
Well, and it
And
wasn't
Josh-
like I thought maybe it was short for Luigi, but
Mhm.
there is an Are You Afraid of the Dark wiki, its own wiki of all the episodes. And no, the kid's name is Ouija.
Yeah.
Because they nickname him, they call him Ouija sometimes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine growing up? No wonder that kid's such a pussy. Growing up and people call you Ouija. Like, come here, Ouija.
Come here, Ouija.
Ouija.
I'm coming, guys.
Wait up for Ouija.
I'm lagging behind. Hold on.
So, yeah, and Josh, man, does that kid talk to himself.
Yeah, there was a lot of monologuing.
So much monologuing, exposition.
Well, I mean,
you
he's
have
an
to.
only child, right?
Well,
You don't see any other kids
we-
I think he referenced a girl at some point when he was locked in the room. He was like, "Cassie, is that you?" Like maybe a sister or something. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did hear that.
Did he?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Cassie's the name of his fuck doll, though.
Oh, right.
See, some other things that I noticed. The fire-breathing dragon.
That thing was awesome.
It was very awesome, but, like, for a show, that works out fine. But in an actual theme park, I mean, if you're walking by that thing, I mean, that's a complete fire hazard. Especially if it's on some kind of timer.
Yeah.
Well, we are
And he
talking about like a magical fun house that has supposedly an actual ghost in it. So,
Right.
I don't know if we should nitpick too much about safety issues
Well-
because
Because of the...
But it's not like they found a fun house in the middle of the woods. It's a fun house in, like, a theme park.
Yeah.
Right.
There's, like, a Ferris wheel
it's a
and shit.
functioning fun house, and there's people that go in and aren't actually stalked by Zebo the Clown.
Yeah, there are people that are just like, I just want to go into a fun house. What the fuck? Now I'm getting breathed on by fire dragon, and
Right. A lot of lawsuits.
yeah.
Yeah.
That circus did not last much longer
No,
after that,
no.
unfortunately.
So actual scary stuff.
And another point that I have to make about the theme park itself is Josh just walks right in to a closed theme park and walks into a closed ride.
Well, I think if
Oh,
kids'
yeah.
television and movies and books have taught us anything, is it's really easy to get into a closed theme park.
Yeah.
I mean, that theme park didn't look that big. Granted, you only see it, like, from the camera pointing up, so you can see the fun house and a little bit of the Ferris wheel, so it's
Yeah.
probably just those two things.
Yeah.
Presumably, there's more to it. But, I mean, I'm sure they probably don't have a night guard there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It looks pretty sizable.
There'd probably be a lot of teenagers that would want to break in there at night.
Exactly. You'd think there'd be
Going in
somebody.
and, like, blowing each other in the coffin with that vampire that pops out.
So, is that what you
Lighting
did?
joints off that dragon.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. And then
Getting the 4-footer in there.
And then Josh gets out of there after apparently either stealing or purchasing cigars
Yeah.
Yes.
for Zebo, who we can assume that Josh is only, 15?
Yeah.
Mhm,
14,
at best.
15?
He's a cool kid.
Yeah.
He probably had those cigars.
Yeah, he probably just stashed them under his bed.
Along with his Playboy or Canadian version of Playboy.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't that be Hustler? Wasn't he...
Was Hustler Canadian?
Well, wasn't...
I don't know if Josh is
Larry
that
Flint-
bad.
Was Larry Flint Canadian?
No,
probably
red-blooded
not.
American.
Yeah.
Red-blooded
Yeah,
American.
probably.
Definitely.
The cigars replacing the spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. And then the Zebo, the Z in the footprint.
Right.
Just so no clown can get his shoes confused with another
Right,
clown's.
right.
You gotta put your first
Yeah,
initial
because I
in the
mean,
bottom.
clearly, if he just saw a giant clown shoe print in the pudding, he would just be like,
Oh,
this
it's
could
just
be any clown.
it could be any clown. Why are there so many clowns in my house?
I've been stealing notes from
I thought there were only
noses
gonna
from
be a
clowns.
few clowns.
The scene that stuck with me since I was a kid was that balloon blowing up through the door, though, with Give It Back. That's
Yeah.
such an awesome
Yeah.
thing to happen.
And then that pop right at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
That was good. And I thought also when he was on the phone and he either hears or smells cigar smoke, or he says, I'm coming to get
he
it.
hears cigar smoke. What is that? Who's there?
Just listen really closely and you'll
Oh,
hear
you'll-
what smoke
you can
sounds
hear it.
like
Well, it's-
when we are breathing it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks back over the bed and he sees the door locked. The door is unlocked.
Yeah.
And there's that long shot of it. I thought that was kind of spooky.
Yeah, it's definitely had a lot of good classic horror movie tropes with the just like, freeze, door's
Mhm.
unlocked, gotta get it, whoa.
Yeah. So that was the tale of laughing in the dark.
The tale of the laughing and of the dark.
tale
of the
The
tale.
tale of the laughing of the dark in the amusement park with the clowns and the
And it was,
Things
Ouija's
scary, and there was...
there were
Oh.
people and they were deaf
don't
It
and
was
know.
terrifying.
terrifying. Directed by Ron Oliver and written by Chloe Brown.
Good old Chloe Brown.
Good old Chloe Brown.
A fear of clowns is colrophobia.
What is it again?
Colrophobia.
Colrophobia and not
Clownophobia.
clownophobia like that kid said.
Did he say clownophobia?
I'm-
Was
a
it
bozoaphobia.
bozo?
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
yeah, bozophobia. You
Yeah.
fucking-
God. Such a
Did you almost say
pansy.
the R word again?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so much hate mail. So much.
I'm going to be sending you hate mail for it.
That's fine.
I listened to your episode last night.
You're my worst fan.
I really hate you. I'm honestly surprised that the mic doesn't pick up my smoldering glare sitting across from you the entire time.
I like to think it does.
Just a little bit.
All right, so I guess we can jump right into the next episode then.
Yeah, nothing else on that?
Yep, we're clean.
We're good.
All right, so what's the next episode?
The next episode is called The Tale of the Dream Girl.
The Tale of the Dream Girl.
I don't remember this episode. Probably watching it I might. This is the season 2 episode. The reason I picked this is this episode inspired a popular movie.
Oh, really?
See if you can figure out as you watch what the popular movie is that it inspired. And the person who created this popular movie has gone on record after being called out for it and has said, yes, that inspired this popular movie. So,
Is it an M. Night Shyamalan?
you can play along at home, listeners.
We're just insulting everybody today. Mentally handicapped.
M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan.
He says he's listening at home
African
right now.
Americans.
He was just so utterly shocked his headphones
Homophobics.
fell out. What?
I think he's used to it by now.
Yeah, probably. What a twist. That is the only robot chicken that I really enjoy watching. Like
Is that one?
that little bit. I just love the way that he says what a twist.
Yeah.
Because M. Night Shyamalan doesn't have an accent at all. And they give him an accent through that.
Yeah.
He says, what a twist. I don't know. All right, episode name again? Sorry.
The Tale of the Dream Girl. I double checked because as much as I said I was professional, I didn't check if this episode was on YouTube
Oh, yeah.
until while we were watching that last episode, and it is.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure just from like the 3 or 4 episodes that I have looked up, you can probably find almost every episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark on YouTube.
Okay.
The Tale of the Dream Girl.
And we'll be right back.
The Tale of the Dream Girl.
And we're back.
Oh, jeez, it turns out I'm a ghost over here.
Oh, what's going on over here?
with my greasy hair and my jumpsuit. Come on.
I gotta
Now-
fix everything around here.
Now we've insulted Italians. We're on a roll today.
You are just pulling out these stereotypes. I'm just being greaser 50s greaser. Greaser 50s greaser.
So that's not stereotypical enough.
What, a 50s greaser?
Yeah. But you
Because we're gonna
you
get a lot of we're gonna get a lot of hate mail from 50s greasers.
We might. You never know.
What's this keyboard thing? This typewriter ain't having nothing coming out of it even.
Where do I load the paper in? Hey, I gotta replace the ribbon and I don't know how.
So clearly, that inspired the Shawshank Redemption.
Yes. Mm-hmm. M. Night Shyamalan's Shawshank Redemption.
Shyamalan Shank Redemption.
Well, I have to say, it took me a long time to figure out which M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie it was.
Remington.
It wasn't until they got to the cemetery that I made the connection that it was.
So right, like 2 minutes before they
Yeah, right at the end.
revealed.
And when I
Remington
was,
only knew because he fucking Googled it.
well, when I was looking up information, I started typing in the name, and then it said The Sixth Sense. But I didn't make the connection that it was Sixth Sense until his mom dropped some mail, and she went upstairs and ignored him.
Yeah.
That's when I put it all together. Oh, she's depressed because he's dead.
Right.
So even then, it took me a little while to kind of make the connection.
Well, was there any sort of kertuffle with the writer of this episode? Did they want credit, or were there any sort of lawsuits or anything like that? Or
Not that I know of.
I mean, because I know you said before we watched the episode that he openly admits that he got the inspiration for The Sixth Sense
Yeah.
from this episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are you afraid of the dark?
Are aardvarks afraid of the dark?
I don't know how to answer that question. I guess we'll go to Wikipedia. Who is our official third member of this podcast is Wikipedia.
Actually, I would say IMDb. So that one was directed by David Winning and written by David Preston.
So I was just wondering how Mr. Preston must have felt about M. Night Shyamalan getting his inspiration. I mean, he didn't rip it off or anything by
No,
any
I
stretch
mean,
of
he
the
took
imagination, but
he took the basic premise of the story and then
It's been
put it to a different
It's
character.
been forever since I've seen The Sixth Sense, but doesn't he even have Like, he's married, but doesn't the wedding ring play part of the story, too? It's been forever since I've seen that.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've seen it.
I couldn't tell you
too,
what it
so.
was, but it
All
does.
I know is that I see dead people.
What do you think about M. Night Shyamalan movies? Are you a fan of them in particular? I mean, I know it's easy to hate on him now. It's kind of become popular because he really went downhill.
Yeah.
Even starting out, I thought The Sixth Sense was kind of fucking boring.
It was slow, but I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's because of
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis,
or
because I like him
Is
as
it
an
Haley
actor.
Joel Osment?
Haley Joel Osment, yeah.
And you have a thing for bowl cut little boys, right?
Yeah, I loves me some bold little boys.
You see dead people. What
Yeah.
about you seeing this?
He was on, there's a series about science fiction. I think we've talked about this before. I don't know if it's been on the podcast or not. I think it was one of the earlier episodes. And Haley Joel Osment was on there talking about AI.
Okay, I haven't seen AI.
It was a Steven Spielberg film,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I believe
Is
so.
that where he's
Yeah.
a robot? Is that
Yeah.
the twist?
He's like the robot replacement boy.
Yeah. Like, you know,
they-
your little boy dies and you get a robot replacement to fill the void in your heart.
Did they get the replacement of the boy? Is it like the little boy that died?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen the beginning of it. I've only seen bits and pieces here and there. But you look at him and he's older. He's a little chunkier in the face, as people are wont to do when they get older. But he still has the same Haley Joel Osment face.
He absolutely
it's
does.
so weird.
Does he have super strength?
Probably.
As the robot, not in real life.
So, as Brandon pointed out when we were away, this episode had of course, this was series 2, season 2, you said? This had the Are You Afraid of the Dark opener with the boat on the lake and the opening of the door.
The lighting match.
The
marionette or ventriloquist dummy that everybody was freaked out about.
Yeah. The first one that we watched did not have that opener, and you said that is one of 5 episodes?
Yeah, that had a different opening.
That had a different opening. So I think what we can take away from this episode, 2 things.
Never work in a bowling alley.
Never working, 3 things then. Kids are douches. Again.
How are the kids douches in this one?
Yeah.
Those 3 girls that just...
yeah.
right,
did you hear somebody talking to me? Of course,
So
we
I
find out
guess
now
it
he was
was-
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably didn't, but...
Yeah, how do you explain that?
Yeah, they kind of look back
He was like
at
a
him.
ghost whisperer.
Maybe they could
Like-
sort of hear something.
Well,
Or they felt a chill. And
I mean, if he was trying to make a vase with them...
Right.
Oh.
My love.
My darling, I've hungered for your
Yes,
touch.
but we did see some of the trademark Are You Afraid of the Dark antagonism between children.
Yeah. Also, love is fucking terrifying, especially if it's between ghosts.
Ghost
Yes.
love.
Ghost love.
They're
Trade-
stuck together
ghost,
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
forever.
Can you imagine if the person you were dating when you were 16 years old, you were stuck with that person?
Well, I mean,
I would try to commit ghost suicide.
Yes.
well, in his defense, I mean, for a ghost, she was pretty hot.
I thought she had a big meat face. I was not into it.
Well, not the girl that he thought was her. The actual
Oh,
ghost
yeah,
girl.
that's
She was supermodel quality and probably. Well, I mean, you couldn't tell because she had a big Letterman's jacket on. So.
You couldn't see what the bod was.
Yeah,
what was happening
but I mean,
there. But
she
could
was
have done worse.
yeah, she
He
was.
coulda- and
she
they'll
was a
never
tap
get
piece of
old.
ass, so
They'll never get old.
yeah,
But is he
So-
stuck with the gelled hair forever then as a ghost?
I'm thinking he is.
yeah.
Is he? No,
Because
he's
she's
not-
wearing the
'cause-
same outfits,
yeah.
right? So I think whatever, at least the implication is in this episode, what you were wearing or how you looked when you died is how you're going to look forever.
Well, I
as a
think the
ghost.
implication is that
Well, he
she
changed his
died
clothes
and
a couple
she
times.
passed on, and she went to the other side,
yeah,
but she can't go on completely because he still has the ring
right.
that ties them together. So that's why he can change clothes. Because I mean,
Oh, right. Yeah, gotcha.
well, and something neat I just made.
Look
the
at you with
connection
your ghost logic.
Yeah. Something I just made the connection with too is if you notice there twice where he's hanging out in the living room.
Yeah,
The first time when he tries to talk to his mom and the mom's like, "Honey, go to bed," talking to the daughter.
yeah,
He sleeps on the floor in the living room. And then the second time he like wakes up, he's playing video games and he wakes up when his mom runs up the stairs and drops the mail. I bet, and I'm sure they didn't actually think this in writing it, but I bet he's sleeping in the living room because he's dead, so the mom has probably closed off his bedroom or started to pack his stuff up.
Yeah.
So he now sleeps in the living room. Or maybe that's the furthest he could go into the house.
Maybe.
But he does change clothes.
Yeah.
He does.
Which they don't address.
No, they don't.
And they don't undress.
Maybe he just ghosted new clothes, though.
Yeah.
Just.
He doesn't even realize it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's talking to him while he's asleep, and then he has a wet dream.
Yes.
So.
And then describes it to his sister.
And then
Like you
describes it
do.
to his sister. Yep. So the sister is a waitress, which, okay, we can kind of see that, younger kids. We would have jobs back in the day.
Sure.
I worked at Dippin' Dots when I was 16, so I would have went to work earlier, but we never got around to getting a work permit. In West Virginia, you have to have a work permit if you're going to work before 15. And I think that's still
pretty
the case.
common. That was the case in Alabama when I was growing up.
Yeah. But he was a repair guy.
Yeah.
At a bowling alley.
I mean,
granted, he might have been a little bit older, like 17, maybe 18, but that's still awfully young to have a repair guy job at a bowling alley.
It is.
That's
a lot of dangerous machinery. Because I know when I was working in restaurant, my first jobs were in restaurants. My first job was at Taco Bell when I was 16. And if you were 16, you couldn't operate some of the, slicers and, stuff like that,
Yeah.
So, but he's working with, pins and the gears and all that stuff.
With the pins? The pins are dangerous?
Well, the thing that carries the pins down, and I don't know all
the pin lift.
I'm a girl. I don't know what all that stuff's called.
Neither do we. We just make it up and sound confident about it because we're men.
I know. I don't
the
have
pin
that.
lift.
I don't
That's
have
what
the,
it's called.
The pin lift.
I don't have the
pin lift.
arrogance that comes with having a penis. But anyway, his hands could have he could have gotten hurt. Basically.
Yeah, he could have.
Well, but the thing is, too, the boss of the bowling alley who comes to the sister, and after you find out that the boy's dead, very callously comes to the sister and is bragging about not having to hire a new repair guy, and it's saving her money.
I don't have to hire a new repair guy because your ghost brother takes care of the place.
If that's his mentality, then I don't think that guy would have had a problem hiring someone underage to work and pay him under the table.
That's
well,
true.
but then if he's paying him under the table, then it wouldn't show up in his books or papers or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe the laws... Canada's like the Wild West of employment. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I don't have my work permit. Gosh.
But it's okay because if you get hurt on the job, then you can have free health care.
That's true.
And wait for it.
Okay, so what was the waitress and the people there?
Yeah. And they're really I guess maybe it's ghosts from different time periods who just really liked it because it really conveyed this 50s almost atmosphere where you think, well, okay, so that's her brother, but did he live in the 50s or something?
Maybe those were people that died in the bowling alley?
Maybe.
Or had some special connection to the bowling alley. Like maybe the couple used to go to the bowling alley a lot. The waitress used to work there.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So they're still there. But you're definitely right about the whole thing having a 50s kind of feel.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned while we were off the air, I think the 50s in particular kind of romanticized teenage relationships and early death. I don't have any specific examples.
The leader of the pack.
Yeah, there you go. That's the
Johnny,
song
Johnny!
That's the song I was trying to think of.
Okay, I got
So, yeah, the whole thing did have 50s.
Were you trying to think of Leader of the Pack, or were you trying to think of that specific 50s song where the entire story is them getting caught on the railroad tracks? No, that's a serious song.
Really?
From the 50s. Yeah, I can't remember what it is, but the entire story is there's two teens who get stuck on the railroad tracks and a train crashes and doesn't kill both of them, though. I think the guy is stuck in the car and the girl gets out.
Well, this just proves that there really is nothing original.
It's true.
Everything is just a conglomeration.
The only thing that was original was that creepy-ass waitress checking them out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she was looking at him like,
Yeah.
I've got something to do later tonight.
Get it in there, baby. Go ahead.
You guys go have some ghost sex with your ghost babies.
I was kind of partial to the very doe-eyed fry cook.
Yeah.
The guy in the white shirt. He never
No
said a word.
dialogue.
Just,
What's going on here?
he just glanced back 4 times.
And
you want a
all
ghost
that-
burger or what? I gotta know. I'm about to shut down the ghost grill.
I gotta go kill some ghost cows for tomorrow.
I gotta clean the ghost grease trap.
Because everything is incorporeal if you throw ghost in front of it.
Yeah, I mean Ghost Dad. Perfect example.
Exactly.
Ghost dad. And so much softcore porn music.
Yes, it's in the end when they're
Man,
walking away
yeah.
together, like I think it was a little saxophone or a little.
Yeah, like
I mean, definitely
synth sax, man.
definitely
Not just
get-
normal sax, but
No.
synth sax.
definitely getting it on music.
Something interesting about the show is that they recorded original music for every episode,
Uh-huh.
as opposed to most serialized TV shows that would kind of have a stable of music and they just throw it in like, okay, we've got our Heroes in Trouble music we just throw in.
Uh-huh.
They did music for each episode specific to what was happening.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I guess you kind of have to with such varied storylines.
Yeah.
The sister trying to con him into staying around.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand that.
I think we can take away that nothing is ever fine,
No.
I missed
and it will never be fine.
I missed the very end. Does he disappear with his girlfriend?
Yeah, she's saying, well, now that you know, you can stick around and we can be a family again. And then the girlfriend shows up and he's like, no, sis, I'm going to go bang my ghost girlfriend now.
Yeah, I think for a 16-year-old boy, the prospect of sex is always going to win out over family.
Yeah.
But one thing I did really love was the way that she tells him that his girlfriend's dead is with the newspaper. And she
Yeah.
has the top folded over that
Yeah.
has the headline that says death, teenager dies. And then she very dramatically flips it up.
Yeah.
And then at the cemetery,
She does the same thing
she
for her
unfolds
brother.
it to reveal the picture of him. And that's her way of telling her brother that he's dead too.
Yeah.
So she's just unfolding for days.
Well, I
Yeah.
also like when he finds
She
the
just
graves.
carries that around.
Yeah.
He finds the gravestone and she's basically berating him.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think you found it, you fucking asshole? You piece of
don't
shit.
don't you know
drifter.
you're dead?
Yeah.
For Christ's sake, you haven't got this yet? Mom keeps ignoring you. Hello. She's depressed all the time. Dad left. Big ass bottle of wine that's always empty.
What
Come
do you
on.
think the timeline is that he died? Because I'm assuming he must have died, like, super recently.
Yeah.
Because when he first... His mom tells the girl it's time for bed, and he's like, what's her problem? Because she
Yeah.
ignores him. Like, that's gotta be one of the first times.
Yeah.
I would say it's been a couple of months.
I guess we never paid attention to if there was a date on the paper. So if you want to go back and check that out, by all means, because we're not going to do it and waste your time here.
Yeah, I would say a couple months because if it'd been weeks, I think there would still be a lot more tearfulness. Like from the
Yeah.
mother, maybe a little bit more disarray.
The mom
that
actually
kind of thing.
seemed pretty calm about the whole thing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
she seemed pretty depressed.
And also,
She's-
you can't give it away with her being too,
Yeah, she can't be too sobby about it.
But the only thing we can infer from the story is what we're given.
Yeah.
So what I clearly have picked up is that mom was some sort of covert operative who has murdered or seen enough murder in her life to just completely stone her.
Okay.
Where she just...
So she's a secret agent.
even the death of her own son is just
Right.
No.
life and death. I've seen it all.
We're all
Right.
just animals.
Yeah.
We all die and rot, right?
Yeah.
And that's why the
Got it.
daughter is so chipper.
Yeah.
She is rather, she does seem very well,
Well, I
adjusted
mean-
for speaking with her ghost brother on a regular basis.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just it, Yeah, her brother died, but he came back to her. So,
yeah, so I
mean,
guess that wouldn't be
I mean, the real separation anxiety would come
when he's
now
leaving.
that he's off with his ghost girlfriend.
Now that she's actually lost him.
Now that he is gone for good. But I guess there would be some padding there. So she's had time to say goodbye to him.
Exactly.
At least to his spirit, so instead
And
of
and they're
just
together, and she's
Yeah,
and he's with
dying in
Donna.
a tragedy where you didn't have a chance to say goodbye, she got the chance to say goodbye.
So he came back after the accident, she said.
Yes.
You just came back like nothing had happened.
Right.
So was he there for the funeral then? Did he come back after the funeral?
That's a good question.
Because if she said, the way she made it sound was just like he came back like it hadn't happened.
Right.
Like they're still prying his fresh dead corpse out of the car.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably at home playing video games while they were.
Well, so what did he think they were all dressed in black going to?
I would say, I mean, that
If
that
his mom
brings
is
up
a
the
covert
question.
operative.
That brings up the question, though, when does the soul leave the body?
Mhm.
So, I mean, does it leave the body upon death, or does it leave the body when you're buried?
I would definitely say it would be that the burial wouldn't really have much to do with. When
Well, I mean, if you want to go by Seventh-day Adventist, the breath of life is what leaves the body, and the soul stays with the body until the rapture.
Right.
So,
And those are
So-
the only Adventists worth listening to.
are
the Seventh-day
Are the
ones.
Seventh-day
Yep.
ones? Absolutely.
I mean,
They
the
are
Fifth Day
vegetarians.
Adventists, they're just trying to cut corners. We know how many days there are. Come on.
Yeah, come on. You're not fooling us
Well,
with your 5-day weekends.
he's obviously in denial. So, I
Yeah.
mean, he could, it's weird. Mom never looks at me.
Yeah.
That's normal. I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Mom's not on my ass anymore. Guess I'll play Super Nintendo and jerk off again. What a
Have
rough
wet
life.
dreams
Yeah.
about my dead girlfriend who I don't
Yeah.
even remember.
Right. He doesn't even remember his
And
girlfriend.
yeah,
so,
what a prick.
Yeah.
Didn't even remember his
Typical
dead
guy.
girlfriend after he died.
Once he saw the grave, though, he remembered everything.
Well, yeah. After his sister just pounded it into him.
Berated
Yeah.
him. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this world, then, do ghosts pass on? I mean, were the waitress and the people sitting at the bowling alley, were they just ghosts that hadn't passed on? I mean, they
Yeah,
were,
you
because
would-
they were trying to tell him, where are you going? It's time to go. Let's
Well,
go.
yeah, they knew, but they decided not to leave.
Maybe they're
I mean-
the helper ghosts.
Yeah, they could be helper ghosts.
They just show up to help people cross over.
They're,
People connected
like,
with the bowling alley. It's a very specific job.
Well, like Touched by an Angel.
Oh,
Touched by an
right.
Angel, the show was about angels who would come down and
molest
guide
people.
and molest people into passing on.
It would molest them into passing on?
Yes.
Fine, I'll go. Just stop touching me.
I mean,
That joke's been made before, but it doesn't make it any
No.
less funny.
No.
it's
it's
low
still
hanging
good.
fruit. So in this
Like my balls.
in this universe,
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
you die, and then you can choose to pass on or not.
Yes.
And maybe because the boy died in such a tragic way and so quickly, he didn't get the option until he was reminded he was dead or whatever.
Right.
So you can choose to pass on or not.
Uh-huh.
So if the waitress and the people in the bowling alley chose not to pass on, then I want to know the story of that hamburger cook who died
Who died?
as a hamburger cook, and then given the option to pass on to the great beyond, to whatever lies beyond, he just shrugged silently, shook his head, and went back to scraping the top of the grill. I want his story.
Yeah, for real. What enjoyment did he get out of being a fry cook?
I mean, the waitress clearly likes people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She knew what he wanted.
Yeah. She wanted to stay around and help other ghosts pass on.
The
or
guy
keep
with
other...
the hat and his wife
They
probably have fucked up 50s ghost sex. So the fry cook, what's he doing? I mean, maybe he's banging the waitress?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's the only thing that
I was
came to
thinking
mind
they have
earlier
a little,
as well.
They have a thing going on.
They have
Yeah.
a thing.
Or maybe, some people take pleasure in their menial work. Maybe he makes a really good cheeseburger.
I don't know what you're saying.
I was saying project more. This means project.
Oh, project more.
Don't eat the mic, just project.
Maybe he makes really good cheeseburger and he really enjoys his work.
Yeah.
But nobody gets to eat his cheeseburgers anymore.
The ghost people do.
Yeah,
I bet
I
that
mean-
ghost couple is eating a fuck ton.
Yeah,
of
ghost cows.
cheeseburgers.
Come on.
I guess if they are 50s people, they're eating
A lot
just
of
constant beef.
hamburger sandwiches and
No-
French fried potatoes garnish.
Yeah, no worries about, high cholesterol and red meat. You can eat that shit all day. Well, actually, we did pretty well. We've ate up 47 minutes of time with our recaps.
I think we can go a little bit longer because we've got some silence to edit out
Well, yeah.
from going in. So we'll pose this question and we'll leave it at this then.
Okay.
If you were to die tomorrow, which for you is likely,
Yes, because I'm overweight.
where would you where would you choose
For the record, my blood pressure is actually really good most of the time.
where would you choose to haunt?
I would haunt your ass every day for the rest of eternity, for the rest of your life.
How would you haunt me? Would you make it so I could see you?
Sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go to ghost lessons. I'd have to visit Patrick Swayze, and I mean, he's dead now.
Well,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's-
that would
he's-
definitely be the expert.
He's
who
ghosting
was-
for real.
Yeah.
Ghost lessons?
Yes, ghost lessons.
So would
I
this
think
be
we've got a hit
mischievous?
TV show.
Ghost lessons. We'll just get Patrick Swayze's ghost. We'll contact him through a Ouija board, or we'll get the kid from the first episode
Right.
and just have him do it. Yeah,
He would have to get his ghost lawyer to read the contract first, though.
he would.
I want part of the ghost merchandising.
Send it to my family
So
or
where
my
would
favorite
you-
charity.
I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I have no idea.
I'm not gonna lie, I probably would haunt you.
I would expect nothing less.
I would.
At least it wouldn't be like Trey's ghost. I'm sorry. We'll get to that. Go ahead and finish your thought.
No, I was just thinking I wouldn't want to haunt Brandon because I wouldn't want to see all of the younger women that he's going to date after I'm dead. So it would probably be outside.
Just
I
wait
want to
me
be out. I know. Don't worry. It won't be long. I think I would probably just want to be outside. Just be out in the wilderness.
So you're going to go haunt a forest?
Yeah.
Like the one in Japan?
Yeah, I'd be a forest spirit.
There's way too many ghosts there.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Suicide forest?
Yeah,
in
the
Japan?
suicide forest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I want to go there, but I'm afraid that I might murder myself.
Why, just to fit in? Just because you're a people pleaser?
No, because I'm overweight and I'm unhappy about it.
Well, I'm in the suicide forest. I can't back out now.
Yeah, exactly. I got to commit.
What about you, Bo?
See, I don't really know. It would be cool. I mean, it would be neat to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had a superpower, I would want invisibility. So being able to, like, haunt by being, like, poltergeist style, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if I wanted to make myself known, I can draw all right. I could draw a picture of myself. Fuck, there's enough computers. I mean, if, like, when did The Exorcist come out? Like, the 70s?
Mm-hmm.
If they can get into a TV in the 70s, I could get into a computer now. I could find a computer with an animation program, work my way in, make a cartoon of myself. I could get ghost royalties.
Wow.
So that's what I would do, ghost animator.
Sounds good.
I would have time.
Going back to Trey's good. This is another D&D story where it was Trey, right?
Yeah.
How did his character... We killed off his character somehow. I killed him off, didn't I?
Yeah, I don't remember
He was
how.
haunting me, specifically.
Yeah.
And were you DMing, or was maybe Ryan Brown was DMing?
I don't remember, honestly.
This was a long time ago at the beginning of our D&D foray. All I remember is him just standing over me saying, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I hate you, fuck you, fuck you.
We killed his character. Whoever was DMing allowed him to play as a ghost.
Yes.
So he was there, but he couldn't do anything, but his character was there. So he chose to haunt Remington, who killed him. But the way he chose to haunt him was to, in real life, stand over Remington and just say, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, in his ear for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good long time. But I'm really good at tuning people out, so it didn't bother me at all.
What did you say? I was tuning you out.
Huh? I couldn't what was going on. Bree, what are you laughing about?
Nothing.
So do you believe in ghosts?
Do I?
Yeah.
No.
No?
Nope.
I do. Strangely enough, because I'm a slave to science, but I've had a specific ghost experience.
Ooh, tell the ghost experience.
Yeah, tell the ghost story.
Well,
The room's dark. Hold on, let me light a fire.
I lived in a condominium when I was
it
I know,
condominium?
spooky condo.
Condominiums.
It was a 2-level.
Condo.
It was a 2-level, one of those ones that's kind of like a row house. And I lived in it as a child. And my bedroom, I always just kind of felt weird in. And one night I was lying in bed and a shoe came up from nowhere and ended up on the bed. Just boop.
Like flew?
Yeah.
Did you see it fly?
Onto the bed. I was lying down and I saw the shoe just kind of appear and end up on the bed. It was one of my shoes. And then we moved out, but the property was still owned by my family. And years later, when I was 21, I moved back in and was living there. And it was kind of a party house. It was a 3-bedroom, so I always had roommates. And people were always hearing voices, particularly an older female and a younger female talking, arguing. You couldn't make out any words. You could just hear like the tone of voice. One night, one of my roommates heard a loud noise downstairs, and he went to the front door thinking that someone had come in. And there was a mirror right behind the door, and he turned around, looked in the mirror, and he saw a little girl's reflection in the mirror.
Creepy.
Also, 3 women have had nervous breakdowns in that house. Yes.
Really?
Like psychotic nervous breakdowns. A lot of bad things happen there. So I do believe in something. I don't know what it is, but I can't explain it. I won't try to explain it, but, there was something happening there.
Yeah.
It was definitely uncomfortable feelings. There were cold spots and stuff like that. And there was always this feeling like someone was watching you.
Yeah. See, I can't say that I've ever had an experience. Anything that I may have had, I've probably dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
but there is nothing that stands out in my head that I was like, oh, okay, this might be a ghost. So recently I just saw a video on Facebook shared through people. I think he works at the same place that I work, and their apartment appears to be haunted. And he was setting up a camera and then speeding up the footage, and it's the bathroom. He'll speed up the footage, and then when there's vocals or the door moves, he'll slow it down so you can hear and watch it. And you can see the door slowly creak and then stop for a little bit. He'll continue on, and then all of a sudden it'll bang shut. The shower curtain opens up on its own, and then there is some vocals that he captures.
Tiptoe through the tulips by the window, that's where I'll be, so tiptoe through the tulips with me. Here's one more interesting fact on Are You Afraid of the Dark I forgot to say earlier.
Okay.
The opening of the episode where they say, submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call the story blah, 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 blah.
Right.
The writer of the show added that line in as an homage to Twilight Zone, where Rod Serling, for the most part, says, submitted for your approval.
Yeah,
The story about some guy and weird things happen.
It did occur to me that this was kind of like Twilight Zone for kids.
Yeah, I think that's the vibe that they were kind of going for.
It started, he originally wanted to do the show without you seeing the horror part of it, and the entire show would just be the kids telling a story.
Oh, yeah?
Because he started out, he sold the show originally as basically bedtime stories for lazy parents.
Okay.
And it literally what he wanted to do was have people tell a half-hour story so parents could put it on air right about bedtime, and parents could let their kids watch a bedtime story before bed. And then it slowly morphed into what it became.
Huh, that's cool. That would be awfully boring to just have a bunch of kids tell a story.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
Especially with all the asides, like, come on, are you scared? You know, there'd be a whole bunch of that, like, get back to the story.
Yeah, here's something fun to do as you're watching Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it cuts to the actual show. Imagine the kids sitting around the campfire talking about what's happening.
Yeah.
Imagine them dictating what's happening, and it is hilarious. Like, and then he rubbed grease all over his hands to try to get the ring off, but he couldn't. And then he went to the bowling alley, and there was like a dude in a hat and like his weird looking wife, and the guy making French fries was super quiet, and the waitress was all like, I want to fuck that. And they were all like, but it was cool. It wasn't weird.
Well, it was kind of weird, but it was alright.
Are we good, you think?
Yeah, I think we finished up nicely. I would say we're just about at an hour. We're 3 minutes shy, so.
Okay, well, you know how I was telling you guys, and I showed you this newspaper clipping of the fire at that apartment in West Virginia while people were doing the podcast? You remember that newspaper clipping I showed you guys before we started?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about it?
Yeah. You know, I could have just edited in the music, but I think that's better. Keep going. All right,
I would
everybody.
say put in the music at the end, but if they have watched along, they've already watched 2 episodes and they've heard it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. Thank you, Bree, for sitting in.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it was fun having a third person.
And we will never do it again.
Never, well, not with Bree.
I probably
because,
won't
Jesus.
be. No, I probably won't be invited back, I'm sure.
Probably. You are smelly
I
for
like
a
having
woman.
a girl because then it makes me sound a little manlier when I talk.
No, it doesn't. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, the big loud noise there.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Is this one on?
Yes, we're both on.
Okay.
And we're back. Don't mess up the intro. Hold on. Let's do it again.
All right.
1, 2, 3.